I launched this challenge for several reasons. I was inspired myself recently. CT Fletcher, who's an international, world-renowned sort of fitness celebrity, posted a series of clips he titled his Last Will and Testament.
I rule the world of powerlifting. I'm a 6-time world champion powerlifter. At one time, I was a motherfucking king.
He had some heart complications, some kidney complications, and he got to a point where, you know, after his surgeries and things like that, he couldn't perform one push-up.
Earlier this year, I could do 100 push-ups like it wasn't shit. The other day, I got down on the carpet. I tried over and over again to do one push-up. I couldn't push myself up.
Seeing this unbelievably motivating, powerful man, physically and metaphorically speaking, break down in tears. It was very real, it was raw, it was gritty. It really touched me. Secondly, as coaches, the vast majority of coaches are in shape, or well, at least they should be in shape. But once someone gets to a certain level, they lose a certain empathy with the average person in the street that's going through that process.
3, 2, 1.
Going through that process from scratch, starting again, getting in there balls deep, literally. First of all, removes the facade, it removes the pretentiousness, it removes the fakeness that we've all become far too accustomed to, and it puts it out there, and it you know, everyone can see for themselves. It appeals to everybody. You know, what I'm going through, what I will be going through. I can go through this process and I can acquire the muscle mass that I'm looking to acquire and lose the body fat that I'm looking to acquire in that very small space of time. I can hopefully motivate someone else to do better and be better. That's pretty much why. I'm very unapologetically myself. I think anyone that follows me on social media, anyone that has a close relationship with me or is within close proximity on a daily basis, can tell you that for certain. I'm very proud of the person I am, and a large part and parcel of that person, to a huge extent, was my physicality, and I've given that all up. My biggest fear is I'm now in a position where I've literally put my money where my big mouth is, and if I don't achieve those goals, it's gonna reflect very poorly on myself as a professional, as a person, as a coach, as an athlete. It's a really great way to sort of bootstrap myself. You know, anyone that's lifted will be familiar with a story, or lifted substantially, will be familiar with the story of Arnold Schwarzenegger having very weak calves when he first started off lifting. And what he did was he cut the trouser legs off all of his pants. And he did that on purpose. He did that so no matter what he wore and where he went, people would scrutinize his calves. And he was never in a situation where he could hide them. He was actually forced to develop them and forced to make them a priority. And this is very similar. This process, this sheriff experiment, is not unlike that. So it was a great way to bootstrap myself personally, and it was a great way for my clients to do the same. I think that a great part of this is for me to go through, and my clients see me doing this, then their excuses are even more invalid. I'll be even more intolerable to them. So yes, my biggest fear is if I don't actually achieve what I've set out to. It's a big guillotine that's sort of sitting above my head at the end of the finish line. I'm excited. I have a lot of nervous and anxious trepidation, but excited and nervousness I think is good. It's a sort of a good analogy would be, you know, I'm running towards this pot of gold at the end of the finish line, but I've also got a pack of ravenous, rabies-infected Rottweilers chasing me along the way as well. So I look forward to showcasing this experience. I want to ensure that it is as informative as possible. Obviously, this episode is just more of an introductory sort of space to show people and explain to people what's going on, but I want to break down the intricacies of the training and the diet and the hows, the whens and the whys, in addition to trying to be as entertaining as possible. Let's see what happens.